Greetings, Scotsword. Welcome.
Hello, hello. Hi, I'm here.
I, I,
Finally.
I hope that my audio levels are correct. I mean, you sound you sound all right. Let me check the things. See how much. Mind talking a bit so I can see how much it's picking up.
Okay, yeah, I'm here. Oh, nice steak on the reckless vampire.
Okay.
They got Athens to deal with, though.
Yes. I'm not sure how I feel about Van Helsing's daytime trade either. Uh, and the fact that he hasn't moved from the UK at all. He actually started up at Liverpool. Okay. So what you missed from not being here at first, he, they both Dami and Mina started in Paris with Seward at Vienna.
Okay.
Very intriguing, and yet I actually see quite a bit of merits to that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it the trail was finally discovered in it on was discovered on day 4, I believe. Basically, uh, he was actually at Sophia when that was flipped over.
Right,
Uh,
okay.
so that'd be day 4 if I'm not mistaken. So
Uh, day
yes,
4 or 5 because of the misdirect. But yeah, okay. Oh yeah, day 4, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that would, and then there was mystic research from Van Helsing, which discarded false tip, roadblocks, summon storms, and nocturnal visits.
Oh, that's a
Uh,
very unfortunate missing research. Okay.
I mean, well, yes and no.
I mean, as a hunter, you want to get more out than that. But, it is what it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then interesting. Dracula didn't stay. Went to sea. He hasn't. So he's used a stake on Salonika. What about Athens?
yes, that's what I'm thinking. Possibly as more than one. After all, we're talking about Seward.
Yep, and because if he was on his own supplying, he might have picked up two and wasn't able to trade them. And I mean, that'd be kind of a cool situation if he can kill two vampires with Seward. But then he needs to get to Athens. How is he going to do that? Does he have horses?
So not so far as I've seen.
Okay.
Uh, he got to Sofia. He got down there first by foot to Budapest and then a chartered carriage down to Salonika. Mina, which speaking of which, so far as the other stake, Mina is showing one along with a second chartered carriage. Uh, so I am definitely finding this a bit odd,
Unless Seward
but
has like an excellent weather to get across that way, and then he has a second stake, which is definitely
that
possible.
apparently not though.
No.
So that's bad news for the hunters. But on the other hand, I think that Drax going to sea like that was a little bit premature. I would have gone up to Varna and then Constanta. Basically, I would have done Black Sea coast
Hmm.
to lay down a bit more trail.
Yeah, that's
I
kind
mean
of
it's possible that that's just me, but
an interesting thing with that because you want to get a longer trail down, but then if you're committed to Black Sea coast, then you're gonna have to take at least one more damage, unless Rufus Smith comes out. But I know Rufus is in play to
well,
get out of
yes,
that mess. So I guess it's like that's the trade-off, I suppose.
yeah. Which on that note, speaking of Rufus, we've actually had both Harker and Sister Aggie go by with using as searches. I was a bit shocked since Harker came first. He even before he moved to Sophia, and he didn't take him as an ally. I mean, it's turned out just fine for him, so far as that goes. But
Well,
uh,
they got a newspaper report, right? So imagine as a hunter, if you draw newspaper reports really, really early, I would do the same. I would search with Harker there. I would if I guaranteed a newspaper report, I would not ally
yeah,
Harker.
I mean, at the time, I suppose I didn't know about the newspaper report,
Yeah.
since that was day 3, back before there was even something that a newspaper would reveal. Uh, but now, yeah, now that you point that out, in retrospect, that does make sense. So yeah, why on earth did he search Valona when presumably Athens is a vampire that's about to give him 6-7 points?
Well, Valona got ambushed. So yeah, he shouldn't have moved there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this is definitely a bit. So for when you watch this, assuming that it is decent quality, you, uh, you you may want to keep in mind to do the, the vampires in the correct order.
hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, if you
yes,
know if there's something, especially with something with a rumor token where it's so obvious that it's a vampire, unless it's like a really big bluff. Um, if you can't get to it, then don't commit to dealing with the rest of the trail. You can get into sort of close proximity just in case it's it's not a vampire. Um,
yeah, which in the event it's a hoax instead, and that's simply a bluff to try to make them come in too soon, because I have seen people do that. Then even a hoax would be rather bad now, especially after that not mystic research. There are 9 things waiting for him there. Admittedly, we know what 4 of them are, but
oh, another C move. Interesting.
nope. Aristocratic, so that's 7 points already. However, much was the case. I mean, you recall back when I was draft for JB Philly. Now OC is now facing the same problem I did. When you wipe your entire trail and all that's left is C, uh, now the hunters are free to do whatever they feel like, and the horse economy seems to be holding up quite nicely. So,
No trail,
uh,
and they know where Dracula is because he's 3 away from, or 2 away from Ionian, so it has to be Mediterranean. So they know exactly where he
yeah,
is. So they're not having to guess where
yeah,
he's going.
yes. I mean, admittedly, there are decent distance from Spain, which presumably is where he's going to land. Uh, but yes, he's definitely good. Victory is far from assured for Drac. I mean, I've said this before, so this is kind of an encore. Or sorry if it's getting repetitive, but I've seen the more often than not, in my opinion, when the first rumored vampire. It's when the first vampire matures that the hunters win more frequently than not.
Hmm.
Uh,
I don't know.
because of because of this very sort of thing.
Maybe.
I
I don't have any stats on that, so I don't know if that's a thing or not. I have to. Yeah, that's something that we're gonna have to maybe, try and collect data on that.
because
Because I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, maybe.
yeah,
The seven
because
points is massive.
and yes, it makes it so that even if DonOJack does win, it won't be like a massive 30 IDS point swing. I mean, sure it will be a win, but if you're concerned IDS wise, like me being the competitive type I am, I like to try to get as much of an IDS win as I can.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, IDS will
Yeah.
come into more effect in the knockout stage rather than this stage we're in. But yeah, that's a good mentality to think
Yes.
of. So I mean,
Yeah. So it's better to practice for it, which yeah.
so I
You
mean,
were saying?
it's so I mean, as someone who's just jumped in without seeing much else, I mean, there's a couple of things. Obviously, Mina moved in when maybe it wasn't necessary to, but maybe he was scared about Black Sea. But even though, yeah, Dracula's got 7 points, which is good for Dracula, and also wasted some resources with a stake and that sort of stuff, and also a turn with bats and whatever. But the hunters know where he is, so even if he wolf forms now, yeah, there's a lot of places you can still go to, but you can kind of start eliminating them. If Mina's got movement, that's good. If Konami has movement, that's good. I don't actually mind Van Helsing
Yeah.
staying
Yeah. I
put.
think. Yeah. I don't- I think Goldami has also shown a horse. Yeah, he just did now. Uh, he horsed and drew a 1. Not white one, mind you. But, yeah, so it would appear that OC has the. I mean, Matt King told me uh, when we commentated OC versus TG, when. I mean, that. I mean, you doubtless know what I'm referring to, but. It, I mean, perhaps not, but he told me that Ozzy being one of his friends meant that horse economy was something that he really drilled into him with a full with a full screwdriver. You will pardon me being a little bit funny there.
But then, so then I guess then Ozzy will be well aware of how fast horses work and the danger of it. Oh,
Indeed,
war form?
he's been advised by. Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's been advised by one of those who reached the finals in the fall league and has one of those sticks as his personal friend. So, one
Oh,
he knows in
okay.
everyday life.
One
So,
second.
yay.
Apologies if I heard someone knocking on my door. Right. Ooh. Okay. Horse
Ooh.
economy not
I,
best. That's okay. That can be
not the
fixed.
best. Yes, it takes time. And since this is only the very beginning, only one day into week 2, so he has
Mhm.
plenty of time to arrange that. Oh, there's the third charred carriage. The last one is unless I miss Mia trading it via Van Helsing, then that's the third out of all of them.
That's actually interesting. So I actually did a little bit of coaching with DonOJack last night because I saw he was looking for games and we were talking on speak. And I did say, because we're talking about uses of chartered carriages and things, and one of the things I did say to him was using chartered carriage to get out of the east quickly after dealing with trail, especially since Dracula's going to be committing to the western part of the board for quite a large portion of this game now. It's definitely not a bad thing to do. Oh, that's not great though.
Oof. Oh dear.
That's maybe the break that Dracula needed. Yep.
Yep. That will make things tougher for the hunters. I mean,
Yeah.
speaking of like coaching, in last night's exhausting game between Five Hit and Snuff, I mean, Five Hit has been getting a good deal better since I last watched. He he made it close. I mean, close in the sense that he actually got his hunters into place, even though one of the most remarkable things, as you'll see in JB's part of the uh, recording of the first like half or so of the game, and was that there it one very early in the first week, Goldaming discarded 2 horses, just threw them away. That
No.
was the blunder that, well, sorry to sound harsh, but the blunder that cost Five Hit the game,
Yeah,
in
maybe,
my
but
opinion.
then I mean, I see the argument because like, especially for new players who are coming in and maybe don't know the meta and stuff, the horses maybe on their own don't look great. They do require a lot of setup, and also the fact that you are reducing individual hunter combat strength. I can
Yes,
I can understand
which
why that maybe people might discard them.
yes, although when I was coaching him, I did like em- emphasize the importance of the horses myself. So, hmm. With that white one there, this early, since it's okay, unless you just found that, yeah, I wouldn't be using them quite yet if they don't have all the white ones yet.
Well,
Whereas,
unless they suddenly drawn the last one there at night. I wasn't
yes,
paying attention, but that can easily happen where you just draw it. Is he gonna bump into Dracula? Nope. Could still be in
okay,
Spain with Granada or
all right, yeah,
maybe
Granada, Saragossa.
Santander. Yeah.
Well, it can't. Well, yeah, it would have to be specifically Saragossa Santander, but it can't wolf one there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to
It's
you.
not.
He's there now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's not
gotcha.
it's not the end of the world. They can keep supplying up. They've got quite a lot of the item deck to go through still, so they might find the third one. Um, But yeah, it's just the fact that it's coincided with a wolf form from Mediterranean. If people don't know, wolf form from Mediterranean is one of the most devastating because it has the most
Yeah, you can
ports
go
and then connections to
practically any
ports.
direction.
Yeah,
You can go in like practically any direction. For that matter, he could have until now probably knew gone back to Venice, hid there, and then be ready to go back to Adriatic.
that's also true because Adriatic's not on the trail. Yeah,
Yeah,
could easily conceivably be in Nuremberg right now, as an example. So actually, trying to get some maybe psychic scans going might be the way out of this problem too. It would be interesting to see how DonOJack deals with this, because when we were doing the game last night, there was nothing like this yet to deal with.
yeah. I was unfortunately unable to watch that game, seeing as I well, as you know, 5 hit and Snuff took 4.5 hours to clear the game. And then I gave them a bit of advice post game. Uh, which, yeah, both have improved significantly during the course of this, and I would, while I haven't been following these two all that closely, I can tell from the way you've been talking that they have also been they're also learning their lessons.
Yeah, I think a lot of the players I've come in new have got like a really good attitude about it in terms of like checking out the other
Oh yeah,
games and wanting to learn. I've been really impressed with Snuffleupagus. Um, I haven't seen
yeah,
recent games from 5 hit, but if you're saying that he's improved, that's great to hear. And that was always going to happen. Players are always going to get
oh
better,
yeah,
and that's going to it'll be interesting then when we get to the knockouts. We might have some repeat matches from the group, but then
yeah,
it'll be a completely different game. So
yeah. But
that's
then the stakes will be much higher.
well, that's true. Um,
Yeah. So will that extra like stress? Uh, I mean, it won't be as big a deal for me since I have competed in 2 previous tournaments. But I mean, likewise, quite possibly likewise for Wormtown and Strider. Uh,
about Marley.
I mean, yeah, Burkmalley as well. Which, yeah, I do feel real sorry for Geo because he got, uh, in my opinion, kind of thrown under the bus, being saddled with me. Oh, hello. Uh, uh, well, he got saddled with me and Burkmalley, Altaris, and then last minute Burkmalley. That's a tall order. I mentioned to you how he had one in the bag had he simply gone to sea, but he apparently wanted to finish it in style, and he lost the game because of it. He's going to be a very good Drac, and he would have evaded me had I not had my CG, and he had my CG. So yeah, Geo's good.
So they found him. So Dan, does this mean he's gone Genoa going down towards the Adriatic coast, going down Italy, or has somehow... Where was Gadalme when he wolf formed?
He was in Zurich at the time, if I recall correctly, or
Hmm.
no, he was in Marseille. Having
Okay.
come from Zurich,
That
it
was
was possible that he went out Milan, Zurich, yes.
a little bit of a risky move there because Dracula could have been in Venice hiding. Oh no, that's not impossible. No, that's impossible, right? Because
No,
Seward came from
Seward came
there.
from there.
Okay, so that was a safe move. That's a good move then. That's a good move
Yeah,
because then she's got excellent weather, so this is a really good preparation. She can go across to Valona to block that off, if need be.
yeah.
That's also
Uh,
that's also nice.
yeah,
Unlikely to
we
be
saw.
hiding in Florence, but it still
Yes,
shows its track. Yeah.
especially because he also already showed those earlier.
Oh,
So
so it's not new information then. That's still
yeah,
good.
that's not new. Yeah, Drac knew about that. So especially since that's one of the insta kill spots. I and I mean, whether Osey would know about that, I don't know, but
No, but even if it's not insta kill, if you just put a CG in Rome, that causes so many issues because he has to walk into Mina because there's nowhere else he can go. He has no wolf form, so not even insta killing. That's not essential. You can just block off Rome,
very
and then
true.
he's going to have to move into 2 hunters, which is not what you want. Oh, she's got a lucky find.
Oh,
Um,
neato. Oh, but they took away her excellent weather.
yeah, but
I
then
do question the wisdom of that, but okay. Because
well,
now she's no longer threatening to just speed along to the Valona.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose in a way she is, because Van Helsing comes first and can trade it by day if necessary.
That's true. Yeah. And if she doesn't,
So
if she doesn't move into the boot, if Sud goes deals with this trail, she can still sit there and threaten. If Dracula goes to Adriatic, the thing is, if Dracula goes to Adriatic in a couple of turns, Ionian's off the trail, so he doesn't have to move straight across. And then Dracula's just gonna
yeah,
take a lot of sea damage. This could be interesting.
yeah. But the thing is, we still don't know whether it's the boot or Milan, Zurich,
Yep.
as no one's yet gone to Milan.
But Seward
So
just
this,
moving to even to Rome will tell you, or even it's not going to be difficult for them to check it.
yeah. I'm just pointing out that they could end up wasting time doing that.
Yeah, but then Godalmy's coming across. If he keeps rolling these, okay, oh,
Possibly
to head
excellent
off.
weathering, excellent weather to Tyrrhenian to try to have him help with Italy.
Potentially,
I
or
think that is.
if Dracula goes east, he's going to head him off that way. I still think going across land is quicker. I think.
I tend to agree, so long as he has that last white one.
4.
So long as he has all the white ones, I would definitely agree.
With excellent weather, you get there a day sooner. But also, if his horse economy is not perfect, then going by sea is actually a little bit quicker. That's okay. I mean, it could well work out anyway. So we're looking at really small things. Okay, so he's gone into the boot.
But either way, you remind me about a detail earlier. Not long before Dracula's trail was revealed, Godalmy ended up discarding a knife to give you an idea of what his hand is likely like. So.
Interesting. Oh yeah, Garlic Reef against Reckless Vampire? Yeah, that's decent.
Yeah, not all a bad idea.
And he's well equipped with 2 more combat events, yeah, or 2 items rather. Yeah, this could easily be a dead vampire here.
Yeah, and was that a horse that Stuart just used?
Yep.
Okay, so that's horse number 3 located. Sadly, they'll have to go through the entire deck to fetch the third one back. But even with 2, horses are worth going for.
So, playing the Garlic Reef, we're talking about combat objectives. Seward must be pretty keen to try and kill this, which I think is it's definitely worth a go.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any hunter that can manage it, then that would be Seward. As for the vampire, you'll want to get a clause in to knock off the garlic wreath. Oh, speaking of garlic, okay. So one of those 2 is garlic. Ideally he gets a claw in to knock off the garlic wreath, and then gets a point via Fangs. Either that or it's simple survival. Just doing strengths and mesmerizes until it can escape.
If you know the hunter has garlic, it's very hard for the reckless vampire to do anything.
Very true. Although, that being said, since he just played it now, I at least would be tempted to try a claw, try to swipe off the wreath.
Yep. We'll see. No, please strive again.
Perfectly reasonable.
Nice dodge.
Okay, so.
So it's still not revealing another item, which is good. So if it's something like a knife or a rifle, it's still hidden.
At this stage, I would assume a Heavenly Host.
Probably.
Since there are none in the discard yet, I mean Seward in particular. It just makes sense. Although, there is the danger then if it's not a knife or a rifle, or just that it's quite possible that he's going around without a conventional weapon. Mesmerized? Did he punch? Oh, called it. Well done. Nicely done, DonOJack.
This is going to be interesting because this is the time where this reckless vampire can escape. It'd be interesting to see if he does try to escape with it or keeps committing to this fight.
considering that he knows he has a garlic to play, I would try to escape. Preferably as mist.
Yeah, I'd
Or
probably do
uh,
the same.
or what I would do actually is I would do a mesmerize next, because unless there's a hidden crucifix, then since he just played punch, that's unless he wants to use a heavenly
Or to
host on a
heavenly
vampire.
host, but he might well do it.
Yeah,
Oh, just
yeah,
go for the
but do that
mesmerize.
to play it. Doing
Oh,
that to play around it. Yeah, doing that to play around a knife, seeing as he's still due to the punch, he now is in knife range or was. Now that he's mesmerized, even if he has a knife, that won't be enough. So
I'm
yeah,
I'm
I think
surprised. I'm surprised Sud hasn't stayed in this fight, but at the same time, Mina's got a stake. She can come in and deal with this quite easily. So um, maybe he
yes,
has a heavenly host and doesn't want to use it, which is also fine.
yeah, that that is my guess. Seeing the pattern of play, it's quite possible that Seward may need to stop at Rome for a bit.
Nice punch
Oh,
again.
nope, nice. And that was actually rather bold, considering that both mesmerizers had been played. That was quite a call.
Hmm. But I guess it's kind of a good thing too because how, both strings have been played.
Yeah.
A Fangs would
Would
kill the
make the
vampire
garlic
because of
reef
Garlic
explode.
Reef,
Yeah.
and Claw would have still done a damage back with the punch if Claw doesn't cancel it. So either way, there was no unless he's going to do a damage to that vampire. Oh, he's
True.
clawing Garlic. Yeah,
Oh,
well played, Seward.
yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, he loses the garlic wreath, but I mean,
doesn't
does
matter.
a hunter really care about that?
And it's a one-time use though, so it doesn't matter, and it kills the vampire from this just use of the
Yeah.
normal garlic. So yeah,
Yep. Whoa, nice. Yeah, he kind of walked into that.
yeah. So
So,
that was a case of
Seward.
from sorry, just say from Aussie's perspective, when you realize if Seward's playing so defensively like that, then you just have to survive until round 4 and then just leave.
Yeah.
Because
Uh,
if this
it is
trail gets
noteworthy
done
though.
quickly,
It is noteworthy though that Seward didn't end up clearing Genoa.
they've got time. So Gadami's potentially going to move in. Mina's right beside it. It's okay. I think moving Seward first to check that it is the boot, I think is fine.
Yeah, I suppose they did definitely need to establish which way he was going.
And since Mina doesn't
So
have
that's it.
horses, she's not going to be one leading the charge to go east, so it's okay if she then stays back a little bit.
Yeah.
And this really puts a lot of pressure on Dracula now, because Dracula's now thinking, do I stay put? Do I go? Oh, actually, is this the X and Weather trade? Mina might be using X and Weather to go straight onto Bari right now. If Dracula has gone into Naples, this could be a dead Dracula. Depends on how well equipped they
Not
are.
necessarily, as I mean, he can obviously hide if that's the case, and then protect himself by two things, one of which could easily be a fog. And
And then would he be able to get? Oh
then
well, then Tyrinian would come off the trail. True. Okay.
precisely, yeah.
If Mina can get a good, if he's in Bari and get a really good combat in here, that could be enough. And it might hurt Dracula to such an extent. That's the case then. Maybe Gadami doesn't have X and Weather unless there were 2 copies. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what Mina does.
Unless he had both. This is going to be interesting. Yeah. Although if he does do that and he does get away with Naples, then he will have to put on something of that was the excellent weather trade. Mind you, under current circumstances, this is a 1v1. I mean, she has a lucky find to help her out, but
Yep. But maybe Dracula wouldn't have been expecting her to move in so fast, so maybe there might not be a... No fog, seemingly. Ooh, this is gonna be good.
what would he not ambush with?
It could be something like a Hoax and Aristocratic. It could have just thought, oh, I've got plenty of time, I'll throw down another vampire, no problem. I
If it's
assume.
either of those, I would assume aristocratic. Like as simply a backup vamp. Uh, Another thing, possibly something like a mob that hits multiple people.
Hmm.
Uh, and he's playing to try to hit more than one hunter.
She got rid of the stake. She has 3 combat items as well as the basic cards, so yeah, she's well equipped for this. Obviously,
Yeah,
she could also easily die here too. So this is gonna
yeah.
be.
It's just gonna be who plays the combat better in this case. I mean, yeah, it's not like those early. It's not like those week 1v1s where, well, you know what happens then, and
Mhm. But the good.
almost always the hunter gets massacred or just
Yeah.
takes a heap of damage.
But also here, like, it's relatively early on, but escape as a bat isn't that impactful.
Okay.
Ooh, okay,
Oh,
that's gonna
that
hurt
she's
Mina.
an ouch. Yeah, that's definitely an ouch.
Yeah, because escape as a bat here isn't much of a threat because where's he
Yeah,
gonna escape as
because
bat
where would
to?
he
Yeah.
precisely? Yeah, missed, and then I missed. Unless she has a crucifix, she can't stop that.
That doesn't matter, but
Uh,
I don't think she if Dracula escapes, it's not the end of the world here. As long as Mina doesn't die from this, if she's just doing a little bits of damage to Dracula, that I think that's okay.
yeah, that is perfectly fine. Okay, mesmerize again.
Okay, she's now
Dodge.
mesmerized.
Okay. And, okay, so that means that Mina will almost certainly play some sort of anti-fang measure. Uh,
Possibly. Unless Ozzy expects that and then plays a strength to cancel that thing.
yes, but if you're in Mina's position, what are you going to do? You're mesmerized. I mean, unless you have a great strength on someone,
Mhm.
uh, then really,
We need to reveal some
can you
sort of
help it?
item. Oh, look, play strength. Oh wow, played a rifle.
Rifle.
Wow, okay. That's not the thing
I
I expected to
mean,
play.
honestly, that makes a certain amount of sense because after Fangs, the next worst thing would have been a claws.
Yeah.
To deal 4 more damage.
And maybe he does have great strength. But if you have great strength here, you can play a little bit more risky. That's a bit unfortunate she lost the rifle. And now she's vulnerable to a claw attack. But again, if she's got great strength, then, or somebody else has great strength, then that's okay too.
If
Hmm.
if I were Drac, I would expect the next thing to be a dodge, and possibly do a plotting, or if not a dodge, simply some sort of anti-fang measure, because I
Yeah.
I so I would in Drac's place I would likely do a plotting next if I had it. I
Well, we'll see. There's the fangs.
Fangs
Nice dodge.
dodge. Excellent.
Yep, a good play by Dracula too, trying to get that
Just trying to get the kill.
bite in. Yep, no. Now it's going to be interesting. Has Dracula picked up that second Fangs? Does Mina have an anti-Fang weapon? Dracula's clearly committed to this, and I see why, because he can potentially get a really easy kill here. Or,
Yeah,
um,
claws or fangs, it doesn't matter which. If he lands a hit, then
second Fangs.
and oh,
Oh!
ouch.
Well, I had to try and go for it. That's unfortunate. Could have tried to
Okay.
play that a little bit
Yeah.
earlier, but that's okay. That's the risk. Then maybe for I played 1 Fangs. What's the chance that Dracula has another? And no great strength, so up to 11
Okay.
influence.
Yep. And nice chat adder between the players.
Yeah.
DonOJack acknowledges that was quite a good play. Ozzy's part.
So this is a thing that I was talking to Don about in the thing earlier. It's also a good thing just for people in general. It's like when you go into combat, you have to think about what's going to happen not only in the combat but then subsequent turns. I mean, it had the opportunity to jump on Mina because of the combat event annex on weather, but then just wasn't as equipped enough, and that you know, the combat in Rome went well, but then that combat now in Bari has gone against the hunters, and then a bit of a I think
Yeah,
she didn't show
they,
it for so long. Yeah.
yeah. If you're going to use a Heavenly Host in a 1v1, you're best off doing it relatively early. Ish, most of the time. Like in a serious one, like not just a simple chance encounter.
True, but then at the same time, it used to be a meta thing for a long time that Dracula would Fang round one because they were scared of the Heavenly Host so much. So it becomes this bluffing game of when you're going to play Fangs. Oh, she had a knife and all. Ah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that could have gone very differently. That's like, you know, knife and Heavenly Host, 7 damage. It's a different game. Those are the breaks. But yeah, but I
Yeah,
think it's one of those things where if you're scared of the, then you see your Fangs come out, you think, all right, now's my chance to play it. But
yeah,
it is what it is. Could have played the knife
yeah,
instead and then Heavenly Host last round, but then it's easy to say that with hindsight.
yeah. And I definitely would have played the knife instead of the Heavenly Host. Less risk. That neutralizes one of the two potential I am dead situations. Uh,
Yeah, but then what would
so
happen if, as an example, then Dracula plays a plotting and just tanks the damage from whatever you've played, say it's a knife, and then knives or knives, fangs or claws you next round, then you die anyway. Yeah, you've done a little bit more damage to him, but interesting hide. I don't know if Ozzy knows this, but if you hide in a for budding Dracula players out there, if you hide in a location that has already been revealed, like Bari has, you can still hide. You can use the card, but you don't place an encounter. So Dracula's
yes,
unfortunately gain no benefit from staying.
yeah. In fact, that's gonna give Seward a chance to try to go in for some revenge. Although, since he has nothing but a garlic and presumably a heavenly host, I mean, I wouldn't be all that confident about doing so. Plus, there's other stuff to worry about.
Yeah, and he's not equipped. But actually, look, Ozzy's has now instantly realised his mistake, and that's part of the learning process. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, that's the thing with renewed vigor here. Sud could do something cool in terms of supplying, then moving in. Um,
Uh, yeah. So, I mean, it's a good thing that he did manage to clear the vampire here in Rome because that is where that otherwise Mia wouldn't be able to leave the hospital safely without giving Dracula possibly all the remaining points he needs.
mhm.
So that's definitely very fortunate for them. Uh, yeah. Now if he had moved to Toulouse instead of Barcelona, that could have been going to Genoa
Yeah,
to cut that off.
he'll be able to get there next
So
turn. So Genoa's not maturing. Um, this is like a fighting vampire or something. Fog would be pretty bad because he can trap a lot of the hunters in Italy while he sails off to the east, and you know he's not that far away from the castle. Um,
yes,
okay, Sword supplying. I like that move. I think it'd be very easy just to
yeah,
charge in here recklessly, but realize the mistake
yeah,
and supply. That's good. That's good.
yeah. Seward angrily replies to that thought. I'm not a vampire. Why would I be reckless?
Mhm. I'm not sure about the use of speedy telegraph, but that's okay. Sometimes it could be a misclick with the interface, or that's okay. We got Van Helsing's got horses too. Okay, they've got. Okay, and
In
this
that
I
case,
like.
it would appear.
This I like.
Yeah.
I like that
Yeah,
move.
he's sending Van Helsing to, uh, like either cut
Eastwood.
off northern Germany in case he chooses to, like immediately, like come ashore. Like if Dracula, for instance, were to choose to feed here, and then go to Adriatic, then Wolfhorn would be ready. Yet for him to throw the obscurity for wolfing ashore to like up to Munich. I mean that would be quite possibly rather daring, depending on how the hunters are positioned then. But
So I'd say I guess it depends what DonOJack's planning to do. If you're going by horses, it's quicker to go to Strasbourg and then to Munich and then into the east. This will take an extra move, unless there's a chartered carriage involved, and then it'll be quicker this way.
We know that there's one bouncing around. He was showing one for a while.
Well, then maybe Van Helsing has it then.
I mean, that'd be my guess.
And there's not much of this trail to deal with. Godalming and Van Helsing might be able to handle this on their own if Dracula goes eastward.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case.
There's plenty of time left in this game.
Yeah, we're not even in week 3 yet, so far be it for us to be saying that it's over, despite the fact that Dracula has made excellent progress. Yeah, Ozzy's commenting on his latest learned lesson.
No, but this is good though. This is kind of what you want to see. I mean, you don't have to say it necessarily in the chat for the tournament game. But it's good to see that the two players are recognizing, certain aspects of the game they didn't know about, or they've only learned it recently, and that's kind of what this is about. I mean,
it's a new blood tournament.
And the Hunters were not in a position to capitalize off the mistake, so Ozzy didn't lose anything for it, and that's absolutely fine. So yeah, Dracula's in a very good position.
Apart from a slight bit of distance, he could be ferrying the Adriatic now instead. But
well, yeah. The consequence of the mistake is not immediate. It might have an effect later. If he's one turn too late getting to another sea to leave later, then yeah, obviously. But right now he's not getting immediately punished for it, so that's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, he's not recognizing. DonOJack is a bit confused with how hospital works.
Well, to be fair, in the game we had last night, he actually found a bug where he was able to move out of the hospital at night.
Shall I ask if he moved out of hospital, because I didn't catch whether he
No, he hasn't moved out of hospital.
Okay.
No, I'm just gonna leave them be. They're asking if it's a bug. I believe not.
In which case, I suppose I'll tell them.
I'll intervene slightly. No, it's okay. I believe not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for those who may not know, while you're in the hospital, you can supply at night without drawing events, and therefore not risk being drac events. And that's all you can do.
But this is what they're questioning, which is a perfectly fine thing. Yeah. So this is why I'm not telling them the rules reason, but I'm just saying to them it's not a bug. So then they can see for themselves what happens. I'm just telling them it's not a bug, and that's fine. Okay. See, so there's no event drawn.
Yeah.
Because I think
so as a result, of course, no risk of giving Drac under the swiftness of Manuel Hiroshima or whatever other crazy thing.
Yep.
No,
but we did actually have a bug last night where she was able to leave the hospital at night, which I'd never seen before. We think it might be some sort of interaction with Long Night, even though Long Night was not in play, but she died when Long Night was in play, so maybe it had some sort of hangover effect. We're not too sure, but Drac is now in Adriatic.
Alright.
Makes sense. Probably go to Valona, and then we'll run around the east for a bit. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it's interesting how there's been no layering.
Well, to be fair though, because the first encounter matured, right? So there's been nothing to layer ever since.
True. Yeah. So, okay, I'm not sure why Ladong didn't go to Genoa.
Maybe Sud might go there. He's got a ticket, so might be able to get there.
Yes. And yet, why wouldn't you send him to Bari and have Ladong mop up with Genoa and Florence?
Mina could go and do a Bari. You could do it that way.
Okay. I mean, that's not the way I would go about it, but very well.
It just depends on the items. We don't see what items they're drawing. Bari's not going to mature for a while, so Mina has time to get out of the hospital and then move there. Sud might go up to Genoa now. Maybe not. We'll see. No, he's applying. Okay, we're just gonna let Genoa mature. That's fine. If DonOJack has a plan, that's okay. Obviously, if it's a vampire, then it's GG. But he's gonna take a risk that it's not a vampire.
I mean, let me see. Genoa was something of a risky play, so I actually wouldn't be all that surprised if that were a fog. In truth,
it could well be.
It's in fact perhaps that's what he's like gambling. Although, mind you, it's something of a gamble to leave two people in the same spot when there's a potential fog.
I would argue it's worse actually to fog Godalming if it is a fog, because he's the one who's going to be charging east. The other two aren't an immediate threat, whereas Godalming is the one who can get to Saphira in 2 turns if he rolls well.
Yeah, and I suppose the fog would fade fast enough that Mia could still deal with Bari. Mia or Seward. Either one, it doesn't matter.
So I guess it depends on what it is. If people don't know, so a natural fog, when you play it as a encounter card in a land space, in a land city, it only gives you 1 fog token. On a port it's 2. However, if an unnatural fog matures, it'll give you 2 fog tokens to place in any city you want. So you can put it in a land city. So you can fog the land, which is inland, for 2 turns, and Godalming cannot move in or out of there. And nobody can move in.
To be precise, to any spot in that region.
Oh yeah, true. In that region, yeah, true. Yeah, not in the whole board. So that'd be a bit OP.
For instance, he couldn't fog Van Helsing in this case.
No, or something like Munich or something. But yeah, in the region. So Milan, because it still falls inside of Italia, then that would work.
It's it's very rare to see a fog mature, as Draculas tend to reserve that as something of an emergency measure, or for when the hunters are on it, and that almost always gets ambushed. People almost always ambush with that, or so it almost always gets triggered. It almost never matures. To be short.
Yeah, it's normally a defensive card that Dracula puts to protect himself, not in order to mature. But if it does mature, it can be very impactful. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. It's in fact, I don't think in all the tournaments I've watched I've had one mature. I've seen one mature. For that matter, all the entire time I've been with the community, which is getting close.
Is this a vampire? This is going to be interesting because Osey would have thrown this down.
Saboteur.
Wow. Okay.
So
that could be
not that bad.
No, so Don's gamble paid off.
Yeah. So now presumably he'll send Seward to Florence to address that threat.
Yeah.
Unless
Florence gets blocked.
Well, that's the thing. There's road and rail, so he can't block both.
Unless Seward has a white 1 only. Depends on what tickets he's got, and does he want to ruin his horse economy in order to get there?
No, he's making it harder. Honestly, I think that's somewhat wasted.
Well, hang on a minute. It depends on where it's got. Oh, I think it's got placed in the wrong position.
Yeah, I think that could easily be a misclick.
Oh, is it though? I think that's on the rail line and not the road.
Yes, I think that what he intended to do is block Munich to Zagreb.
Yeah,
which is simply zoomed out. Which actually that wouldn't be all that bad. At least that would actually be decent for Dracula, as that would slow him down a little. But
I think that's been placed in the wrong position. But the thing is, I don't blame players for that, because the placing roadblocks is very, very finicky. It's probably the only time I ever zoom in on the map. And sometimes,
Same.
especially with these two, it gets placed halfway along the road or rail line, because here you've got these two crossing from Munich to Zagreb and Vienna to Venice, and it's very easy that you just click the wrong one. So if you did pick the wrong one, that's a bit unfortunate, but again, learning curve. Because you don't get many saboteur matures, so you don't get many roadblocks. But nice idea though, to sort of stop Godalming and Van Helsing's movement a little bit. Van Helsing's not going to be effective, but Godalming could well have been. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So, interesting choice. Unless he has a second excellent weather, I can't say I particularly like that. Or going to Munich.
Or maybe another chartered carriage.
Well, we know that if there is that, then I suppose we don't. Well, actually, I suppose Goldong does have that, doesn't he? Unless, yeah. So actually, Goldong is the only one who has any events, right?
Suud has one.
Yeah. So whoa, goodness.
Yeah, I'll get Florence. Oh, there's another one. Oh, and this actually also recent. So this has to die, otherwise Dracula wins. But also, if he gets 2 Fang attacks in with the ambush, then the game ends as well.
Yes, so this is very dangerous.
Suud has Garlic, so...
Yeah, so it'll definitely be difficult for the vampire to gain 2 Fang attacks. That will be very, very tricky to pull off. I mean, it's not impossible, but like for instance, if he got a plotting off, that's definitely a weakness of Garlic. Okay, chose to punch. I can understand that mentality.
And also, Mina's at the hospital, so she might have supplied and got a stake. And the two of them could potentially gang up on this. So they'll basically they'll have 4 chances to kill it, but obviously the 2 night fights, you've got to make sure they don't die in the process.
Yeah. Either that or simply get bitten yet again.
However, if Florence gets dealt with, it's only Bari and then the East, so they can deal with all that. Okay,
very nice, Garlic. Good work.
I would say if Suud does have a Heavenly Host, he has to kind of try and play it here, because he needs his vampire to die, and you don't want to start risking night fights and whatever.
Yes, but on the other hand, Seward also supplied at Rome, so he could have a stake.
Yes, he could. Is that? I can't remember. I don't know if he's got enough items. He possibly does have a stake. There's a Fangs.
And
okay.
he dodged it. Well done.
No point for Dracula.
Not yet, at least.
No.
Yeah, so it's not game over in this particular fight. That much is certain.
Okay, and Mesmerize. Another punch. Nope, we'll go for the Garlic. No. Okay, now Fangs is back on the table because the Garlic's been used. Dracula might
Yes, however, there is still a dodge.
Yeah, and a dodge. And the thing is, plotting...
What I would have done there in the vampire's place is I would have done plotting that round, because Garlic was the obvious thing to do, and therefore you would have... now the Garlic would be used up, and you would have a plotting reserve.
But maybe a vampire doesn't have plotting. That's the problem.
True. Yeah, should.
Oh, Fangs?
You never know.
Oh no, plays a rifle. Oh, he might have holy bullets. That's a point
possible.
For Dracula. He's 1 point off victory. Is this vampire dying right now? If he has holy bullets, it dies.
Answer?
He does!
Yes!
The hunters are still in it. Wow, this game's gonna be good.
This is gonna be a good one for my first recording. First recording ever, for that matter. As long as the audio and such is decent, then even decent, I'll consider it a success for my first time.
I did also hit record as a backup, just in case.
Okay.
So this is good. So Hannah's have saved the game. Bari has to be dealt with, but it's probably not a vampire. If it is, it's only aristocratic, so that can be easily dealt with because they didn't ambush Mina with it.
Yeah.
So now, if they just get east as fast as possible, Dracula's
Okay,
got
so that
Dracula's
will
got sea
take him to
spaces.
Prague. Yeah, that'll take him either that or Munich. I mean, same difference in this case.
It's not actually the same difference because he can get a little bit further by going to Munich. I think if Van Helsing hadn't gone along the top, if he'd gone via Strasbourg and Munich, he would have actually been. Let me think. He went from Le Havre to
He would actually.
That's 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves. 1 move.
From
2 move.
From
He could have been.
No,
He could have been
yeah,
Zagreb.
he actually could have.
Zagreb by
He could
now.
actually be. I think he could actually be in Sarajevo. It was from the Harv, 3 moves, one of them being 1.
I think he had a 1 move. So he's
Okay.
5 from Le Havre. Strasbourg
So
is
yeah,
2.
he could be at Zagreb now. So unfortunate routing choice, but oh well. At the time, he didn't know whether Dracula had gone to North Germany, so I can definitely see why.
Well, that's true. That's true. But I think Dracula would have probably had to make that decision when Van Helsing would have been very close to Munich. So it would have forced him that way. Oh, I just also realised I also realised something. Gadami went to Venice to check that it wasn't Venice that Dracula was in.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is also fine. That's a good move.
Yeah, that's a respectable choice. Yeah, now that we think about it. So now we know that he went to Bologna.
Yeah.
And but here's an interesting question: do they have a fully charged CG? Well, they can't have a full charged CG now. Now that Nina sadly got bitten with hers.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, and they could restrict him and force him to go down to Athens, or simply make him feed.
I mean, I would say the opposite. I mean, if you can restrict him, you don't want him going to the coast. You want to force him inland, so then you can get people to try and jump on him while he's stranded between his current position and the coast.
Yeah,
Dracula
so instead you would force him to Sarajevo.
Yeah,
in that case, you would force him to Sarajevo.
Yeah, or you keep him in place, and then you're risking an extra weather and such.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. Quite possibly putting the permanent one in Sofia if you had it. But that's. I mean, there's still CG that could definitely at least mess things up for Dracula. I mean,
renewed vigor.
We haven't seen iron. Yeah, we haven't seen either of those yet. So.
All it takes, even though the Huns are a little bit undersupplied, all it takes is one event, and that could be enough. As long as he keeps close enough to Dracula. It'll be interesting to see if those couple of missed moves or misplaced moves with Van Helsing will cost him. Because if Van Helsing had been in 59 right now, Dracula would be so scared at this moment, because if he tries to go to someone like Sofia, Van Helsing could jump on him. He could put so much pressure on it, whereas now Dracula's got a little bit more space to move.
Yeah. One thing that is something of a shame is that since I mentioned earlier that Sister Agatha went by in the early game, it's a shame that they didn't have that as an ally.
Yeah, especially for the 1v1 in Bari. Yeah.
Yeah, especially at Bari, because that would discourage the Fangs that took out the Heavenly Host. There's that shared carriage.
Did also have chartered carriage.
Yeah, that'll take him as far as Belgrade. That's definitely very nice.
Is it going to be enough though? Is Dracula going to leave then immediately, and Gadami's going to eat? But then he has to deal with the trail, so it's not the end of the world.
I mean, yes, but let me see. Drac has 9, so yeah, he could risk another sea voyage.
Oh.
And in fact. Oh.
Went forward to Bucharest.
Interesting. Well, that's honestly
blocking the move to the castle.
I think that may be a little bit, because the thing is, what Drac could do is he could actually go to sea and then just cruise around at sea forever until, risking a CG, blocking him until it's time for him to simply land for the win. at this point. If he went to Salonika or Athens, he could do that. Okay, again, in this case, I would have gone to Zagreb so that you could possibly jump him at Sofia.
Yeah,
If you went to
you could
Salonika first.
pincer him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is,
So
actually, Dracula, if he wanted to, Dracula could just go to C now and just go all the way around the
yeah.
board, and he wouldn't get killed by CG either, because he'd have one more C space to move into to win the game. But I don't know if Osey realizes that, so that's going to be an interesting dynamic here. Does Osey realize that is a win condition? But then he maybe wants to get more IDS, which is also a valid strategy. We'll have to see.
Yes. If I had to guess as to what Dracula's going to do, if he does see that sea voyage as a thing, my guess is that he'll feed right now, because they won't be sufficiently close to him to really pose a huge threat, because he could easily be sitting on a fog, and then he sees that the hunters don't have all that many events.
That's
therefore,
true.
The risk of forewarned is minimal.
That's definitely true. Yep. If he's in Athens right now, he's sufficient distance. He would need a sense of emergency or renewed vigor, and then they'll be going through Valona. There's a risk that gets tripped. So yeah, I think if he's in Athens, feed is not a bad idea.
Which, for those who don't know, was I going to wait? What was I going to cover? How it just goes as soon as in any event. What were forewarned? What forewarned is? Its name is kind of self-explanatory. If you're ambushed when you by an encounter, you can discard forewarned in order to just make it as if it's not there, and discard it.
Yep.
But only if you're ambushed by it. If you search it, and of course it has to be something that's not a vampire.
Yep.
But wolves, spy,
Even I've seen forewarns being used on desecrated soils before. Anything's possible.
Yeah. Which, honestly, I would guess. Come to think of it, I think that's what Bari is. That actually is a logical place to put it.
No, it was a vampire. That's why he did ambush and stake. So that's
aristocratic. So
game is still going.
Yep. The hunt is still on. It'll be close. It'll be tight. And if he does go for just a long cruise around, he'll take quite a bit of damage, naturally. Or rather, aquatically.
Yeah, we get a bit of seasickness. But yeah, he can make it round all the way to like English Channel, North Sea, and then land. So
yeah, Ionian would be 7, 6 Mediterranean, 5 Mediterranean, South Atlantic 5, or no
4.
No 4, 3 at North Atlantic. But at that point, and then he lands in Ireland.
Yep, or North Sea, or so you can move around one more space. Oh no feeding, and he's moving. Interesting. That's not a hide because hide's on the trail.
Yeah.
So he's 2 from Valona.
So there's no Athens there.
Nope.
He possibly went through Salonika or went to Sofia and is now in Salonika. So yeah, that's the thing with that particular like southeast corner. There you can do them in practically any order. There's with 1 or 2 exceptions.
Unless he played risky and went to Sarajevo after Valona, saw that the hunters are not moving the southern way and they're going along the northern part of the east, and then it's now in Zagreb. Because worst case now it's a 1v1 with Van Helsing, and you might be able to skip us back from it. Or kill him.
Yeah, unless Seward has a sense of emergency. But yeah, Seward has 1 event. And we haven't seen any sense of emergencies yet. It is noteworthy that there wasn't any dawn prompt, so there are no RVs. And Dracula quite possibly knows this as well.
But as a Dracula player, the way you have to do it is you need to look at the number of events. You have to count the items as they get discarded and stuff. But you also have to count the number of events that the hunters are holding in hand, and you can then make quite a lot of judgments based upon how much risk you think you're in. If the hunters are running around with full hand of events, there's so much uncertainty about what they could be holding, and the combos of renewed vigor and speed telegraphs and forewarns and such. But if you know the hunters don't have many events, even though they might have good ones, they're not going to have many. And they're not going to be comboed to the same extent. So you're a lot safer position, and you can then start maybe taking a few risks if you think it's worth it.
I'm not sure why he thought to do that.
Unless Dracula's in Varna and wants to sort of block him in at the beginning, but yeah, I would have checked Sophia personally. I think you need to ascertain if he's gone through Sophia or not. But that's okay.
Yeah, likewise. I completely agree there. Yeah, I think if I had to judge who's, I mean, due to how they're playing, okay, I'm not sure why you spent the train tickets when you can simply go by road.
Improving horse economy.
Improving horses, yeah. I suppose that.
Or maybe didn't see the road, because it's possible that sometimes they're a bit hidden.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't know the map well enough, then.
Yeah, Dracula's just in a better position because of the points. The thing is, though, all 3 Reckless Vampires have been used, so he would need an actual mature to win the game. I hope.
Yeah, either that or a kill.
Yeah, I hope the hunters. I hope he checks Zagreb here. You need to rule out the possibility that Dracula's going up that way. No. Okay.
Oh dear. So the question is, will Mina actually supply or at the very least move to supply? No, she's heading there.
Alone, I guess.
This is starting to look like a bit of overcommitment. Normally I would have someone stay back a little bit and just fetch more events.
Yeah, you might end up getting a hide scouts or something.
Especially really 2 of those have been drawn already. Or is it 3?
I think 2.
I think it's 3.
But you need to hedge your bets though. That's the thing. Like you just never know. Or you might get like an evil presence, which might help out. How many we had? 2 hide scouts. Plus the 2 search allies.
Yeah. So that's why I was confused a bit. And thought there were 3 for a moment. But yeah. I think that Van Helsing's ruling could definitely have been better so far. As to ways to improve.
But also unfortunate that they got 2 slow horses in a row that restricted the movement.
Yes. Okay. What has he got?
If Dracula is in Zagreb, this is a little bit risky because Seward's right there.
Yeah, if that... The thing is that Seward has been moving by rail, seemingly, so therefore, you know that there's 1 fast horse out of commission, you know where the 2 that are active are. So therefore, I think going to Munich might actually not be a bad idea. Because then you're at least out of reach with Van Helsing.
No, Van Helsing could get there.
Or right, yeah.
Well, unless he rolls slowly again, which is a possibility. But the odds
it's definitely tough. What will he go by rail or will he go by? I think that Vienna would actually give him better chances of remaining undetected, at least for this turn. Yeah, because Seward might might be using a 2 yellow to go to Budapest.
Maybe. I don't know. It all depends on what you think. I think the risk of Seward going to Munich is greater. So, yeah, maybe Vienna might be the one to do, or maybe he could have just wolf formed now. But maybe that then.
Yeah, that actually, if he was in Zagreb, was likely the thing to do. Okay, not in Varna either, but I'm not surprised by that. In fact, that was almost impossible.
What's impossible?
It was possible, barely, if he had gone Salonika before Sofia.
Yeah. So it did go to Vienna, so he went to Munich, then this is paying off for Dracula.
Yeah. Now, oh dear, this is not.
Well, it definitely looks like It definitely looks like Zagreb, Munich, because he's eliminated so many places like north of that line.
Yeah. But since he's going overland, there's always the chance that although since we know that there is no renewed vigors, it's gonna be tough to catch.
Yeah.
Especially still with 9 HP.
And with wolf form to play
Yeah,
with.
and with the wolf form, yes. Yeah, I think this is looking very good for Drac. It'll be tough for the hunters to come back at this point.
So a lot of this situation mostly arose because the way the hunters entered the east, they went through Munich, or Vienna, which is fine, but it's the fact they both went along the top side. So they gave this gap for Dracula to walk into. You want to try to go to the extremities and work your way in. I just expected Dracula to go to the coast immediately. So if Dracula did take some couple of risky moves and went Sarajevo, Zagreb, didn't get punished for it, and is now going to really reap the benefits of it.
Yeah. If he has indeed gone to Munich now, I would expect that he's going to wolf form next.
Does he need to? That's the question. Does he need to wolf form? You could just go.
Well, I suppose not necessarily, and yet at the same time, you might want to just play it a little bit safe. There's still a
couple of new vampires about, so there's definitely potential for night fights here. Oh wow, well, there's Mystic Research. I mean, there's a Mystic Research supply.
Yeah, there's still. I think there's still at least one of those left.
No stakes.
Yeah, stakes are out. So, and perhaps that's why he chose to make that Mystic Research supply now.
Oh, there's the wolf form.
As expected. So, yeah, that screams that he went up to Munich. And
yeah, as hunters, you have to check. Has he somehow slipped past you? You have to look at that.
Yeah.
Hunters will probably need a little bit of time here just to think about what's happening, which is fine.
Yep. Let's.
I mean, he might not be as far as that. He might have gone Salonika, Sofia, Sarajevo, and then as wolf form to Munich.
It's possible, yes. So therefore, what Goldong should do is just check Sofia. We need to get more information.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or fast horse.
Has to go to Sofia then.
Yep. Yeah, his horse economy is definitely not the best. Okay, so he went there directly from Valona, so...
then Sarajevo, then he's gone from he's wolf form from Zagreb then.
Alright. So that means that he's a little bit closer than we thought. But
still, he's in Zurich, potentially, or Milan.
Yep,
Nuremberg.
A knife. Revealing a knife. Interesting.
And he's going into the part of the map where there's lots of connections, so he can easily weave his way different ways. He's probably going to head towards Spain.
Oh, yeah.
DonOJack might be getting flashbacks from the game we played last night, because I did the same thing. Not over land, I went by sea and wolf formed into Spain while his hunters were in the east, so there's maybe a little bit of deja vu. Yeah, so Sud has to check Munich just to get closer to Dracula. Van Helsing has to maybe check Sarajevo or Zagreb, depending on the horses.
Ideally Zagreb, and then Mina. I suppose Mina still hasn't cleared this spot.
No.
So, it's... Yeah. This is gonna be... Yep. And
that's a bit unfortunate because he checked it was Seward. Nice bats. I mean, that would have been worse if Van Helsing had stood on it, to be honest, so yeah.
Yeah, so honestly, that's for the best. But here's the funny thing. Wouldn't it be very weird if he chose to Wolfhorn to Klausenberg? Chose to try to do something like that, hide, uh, that the last hide, and then for his final move into the castle, or like just before his final move go into the castle.
Yeah, potentially.
I mean,
Yep, could
that
have
would
done.
be extremely risky, but it'd be extremely risky, ambitious. But ambitious but risky is a very fun way to play. So even if you lost as a result, well,
Which might be why he ambushed with Sophia, because normally you don't ambush with these things. So, because maybe he's going to the castle and wants to weaken Godalming a little bit. Okay, it's a spy. Does she have? Oh dear. No weapons. Now, is that horse economy ruined? I don't know. Possibly.
it's entirely possible.
Nice spy, especially in the east where there are not many big cities to resupply. It's a good. You can
Yeah.
catch somebody. Yeah, that's a good use of that card.
Yeah. Let me see the timeline. If he did go to Klausenberg, the way he would still get the HP from Castle Dracula without making it like his next move. Oh. Uh-huh. Well, we kind of knew that already.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame.
But yeah, had we had that a bit sooner, then that definitely would have been nice.
If that had been Mina's night supply yesterday, that would have told you a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Doing that. So, yeah, good bats shove. But that indicates that he did not do the ambitious play and do Klausenberg.
But also, like, Dracula can just go somewhere a couple turns away, be safe, and feed. He's up to 11. He doesn't need the castle HP necessarily. So, and the win's the win.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just a fun thought more than anything else.
Yeah, no, and I've seen it being done. We saw in the last league where somebody wolf formed backwards and everybody charged west. Definitely possible.
Yeah, wolf forms can definitely be confusing. You can definitely be very tricky with them. I mean, considering the situation, I think that I would feel perfectly safe doing a feat now, before the fourth week top clock begins. But yeah, making more distance also makes sense. I mean that horse economy may well be completely ruined now, but let's hope for the hunter's sake. Let's hope not.
Yeah, but that might be the result of the spy. That's the thing.
Yeah. Man, it's sometimes painful watching these games between the newer guys. Oh well, that's nice. Just seeing how they struggle with things that because of making mistakes that uh, that among the more experienced players you like never see.
No, but I think it's actually a really important thing because I feel as you become more experienced with the game, I feel it's quite easy to lose touch with sort of the learning process you've had to go through, and it really highlights the, how, especially for the hunters, like how tricky they are. You've got a lot of things to focus on. You've got to manage the horse economy and deal with the trail and move efficiently and supply enough. That's a lot of things you have to juggle, and it's so easy to get caught in two minds, and you're trying to find this character who's running around in a hidden way. So I don't know. I would say, I mean, there are going to be errors on both sides. I mean, it doesn't matter what level you're watching. There's going to be errors on both sides. But I found all these games to be really enjoyable and not difficult to watch, just because of.
Yeah,
they're
let
still
me
very
put it this
close.
way: it's more like pain of like feeling sympathy for them as a result of it of like knowing that at higher levels something like leaving that corridor open I would not have happened, for instance, at a higher level.
I
Most of the time.
some of the games from the World
Oh,
Championship
nicely done.
last year. Yep, that's a dead vampire. Very good.
Yeah,
Um,
well fought.
there was quite a lot of shenaniganry with wolf forming from Vienna. There was at least 2 games that ended up that way, and the number of times we saw horses dying and constantly drawing the only yellow one in the deck. It can happen to anybody. Um, that's really nice.
Yeah,
So keeps no vampire mature again. So apart from the initial one, good job clearing with the trail. Left one to mature in Genoa,
yeah,
but his assumption that it wasn't something important worked out because it was only a saboteur. But yeah, it's just all the hunters east and Draco
yeah.
got
It's definitely.
past.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, but that might be because of the spy. And to be honest, I don't blame him
Yeah,
for trying at this point because you had to try.
yeah. At
And
this point, it's just desperate. He has to, because even without a renewed vigor, he can still presumably only get onto him with a sense of emergency. Now, now that he's
yeah,
moved.
yeah. So you have to try it. You have to
Yeah, you have
take
to at least
risks.
try.
Yeah.
I Yeah, I actually had one of my games in this tournament. I I believe against Burke Molly when I was hunters against him. I Wakat or it was possibly someone else, but Wakajic mentioned to me he I or no, it was actually just a friendly game between me and Wakajic where I just couldn't find the third white one, but he said good work trying you good work using them nonetheless, and I replied it was the least of the evils I had in as options.
Hmm.
Yeah, sometimes you just have no choice but to try.
Yeah. And that's
I
and sometimes it doesn't work, but that's just the way it goes. If you don't try, you're not gonna achieve it anyway. So you may as well
Yeah.
take that risk. You're not losing anything. Um, the loss of the horse uh, earlier
early
was more the
was
issue, but that's okay.
yeah, that one could have been like he could have waited a bit longer
Mhm.
before before it was really necessary, but oh well.
But I've had
What can
games where for almost 2 weeks I can't get that last white one out, and I'm just so
you're,
hamstrung by
you're
it.
you're telling me in my I in my most recent like just casual game against Wakajic, I didn't get mine until Thursday week 3.
Yep,
Goodness
that can happen.
gracious.
Yeah, if you got other things to
Just
do, or
it's just so frustrating at times. It can just be so frustrating. Yeah, so if I were Drac, after the, to, I would have his next move be a feed because he's just sitting pretty at this point. I would say. I know it would take something massive to swing this back around.
yeah, it
I
has to
don't
be.
know how. I
Unless he has done that crazy play to Klausenberg and is now, I don't know, like hiding in Belgrade or something, and the hunters suddenly discover him and they jump on him altogether. But
yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be very, and
I
also
mean
they're not fully supplied. It's gonna be very hard, and that yeah.
yeah. Goldung just spent another heavenly host on that thing, on the new vampire. Necessary to be sure. Uh, or actually, that wasn't necessary to deal with.
Oh,
Oh, Stuart actually checked it.
checked it just in case, and that's yeah.
I respect that. Well moved. Well done. Yeah, he's checking alternative exits
Hmm. Yeah,
other than
especially for
simply.
Van Helsing, it's easier for him to check Prague than Munich, or whatever. So yeah, it's could have also been.
Yeah, so my guess would be Zurich.
Yeah, it's the
I
same.
mean,
It just goes,
most logical spot.
and now he's in Toulouse. He's just going as far away as possible.
Yeah.
Dracula could just, if he wanted to get more ideas, he could feed now. And
Yeah,
then he
which is
moves.
precisely why I would say he would do it now. I mean, mind you, that would mean that would actually give Mina enough time. Mina would actually have enough space to get onto him with sense of emergency if it was Toulouse.
Yep.
So,
But then you know what she's got. She has a garlic reef and a holy circle. She's not killing Dracula under any circumstances.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's not too much of a threat. Assuming Dracula remembers that information, but yeah, she's not a threat. And she has no event card
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, so. Yeah, sadly, this one. Now that we've
slipped
eliminated
away.
the possibility. Yeah, now that we've ruled out the possibility of him staying in the east, unless he was anyone ever at Belgrade, because if so, there's still that. I mean, that would be just ridiculous, but.
Yeah,
But,
so
well.
good day combats by the hunters. That one night fight, that's the problem because it is a night fight with Dracula, and that was devastating.
Yeah.
And then just small things like the loss of the horse, the slightly inefficient movement. But again, these are like little things, but they just accumulate during the whole game. But also he's played well, solid game. Wasn't under enormous pressure, but dealt with Mina very well. Matured the vampire. Yeah, just done everything he had to do really. Could have protected the vampire and roam a little bit better, but otherwise, solid game from Osey. And this is going to be a big boost to him because I think he was on a little bit of a losing streak before this. So yeah, that's going to make the middle portion of that group a lot more even. Oh, now you see Renee was yellow too. Oh, the ticket deck is mean.
Well, at least we get to. Yep.
Yep.
At least he gets that last bit of satisfaction.
Played a predictable path, but it worked out. I want another vampire just for insult to injury.
Yeah. Yeah, unless he plans to feed now. Just.
Yeah.
And missed that he could have done it yesterday.
No, I think Osey just wants to get the win, which is.
I mean, either way, they haven't been supplying, so he knows there's still no renewed vigor.
Yep. Yeah,
so therefore, right. he could just sit. He actually could feed and still just sit pretty. I mean, that'd be a little bit mean, to be sure, but.
Oh, first time that Don doesn't punch first round.
Well, perhaps that's precisely why he didn't punch. I mean, you don't want to get too predictable and all. I try to mix it up. I try to mix it up from time to time during the game. Pause. Okay, now punch. And it's a shame that the result of this doesn't matter one bit.
No.
As to the end game.
No, that's true.
It's a bit sad that. And we know Goldoming is nothing but a knife. A knife is still plenty fierce, but. But now he's mesmerized, so yeah. He's gonna get, at this point, at most 2 uses out of it. And that's if neither of them are cancelled.
Oh yeah, that was a little tip that I saw earlier. I forgot to mention it. For you budding hunter players out there, when you play planned ambush in a combat, do not reveal one of your item cards with it. Just play something basic like a dodge, and then you can swap it, because you don't want a situation like Adaming did, where he played Plan Ambush and then showed the knife, because then if he switched to something, he's revealed the information. You don't want to reveal a card until you switch to it.
Yeah, that's one tip that's been mentioned in quite a few videos. There are a lot, so if you don't know that yet, don't feel bad about it, because there are plenty who have that to learn. So.
Oh, and I've seen very experienced players forget which hunter has planned ambush, so they just pick all the aggressive item cards anyway. So in the heat of the moment, it's very easy to forget. There's a lot going on. Fangs.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, we use plotting to cancel that.
I mean, maybe not. He might just accept it because of the circumstances.
No, didn't cancel it. So the plotting's still in play.
Yeah. Ideally, you would want to cancel an escape or a dodge.
Yep.
I mean, in that case, it simply means that he healed only one instead of two, and you know he doesn't have a heavenly host, so why bother?
As you said, this new vampire's not maturing because the game's going to finish by then. So yeah, it's an irrelevant encounter, but still they're playing it out.
Yeah.
Walk a knife. Yep. Good strength.
Yep.
That's the only problem. Once you reveal weapons, it's very easy just to get strength and everything gets cancelled.
Yeah. There are some players. Some of our new players have a natural that uncanny knack of getting into their opponent's heads, such as 5-hit, for example, with his better hunter play. We saw quite a bit of that, and Snuff actually commented on that. And now he's gonna cancel just for the fun of it. No, okay. Well, yeah.
That's the thing. There's a lot of aspects to this game, and maybe certain parts might still be on that learning curve. But if you're really good at just getting into, I mean, I remember when I joined my very first game, playing against Mr. Green. I was Dracula, and I remember getting a Reckless Vampire to mature, and the Reckless Vampire also killed a hunter in combat, just because I didn't know the meta. So I just kept doing whatever I wanted, and Mr. Green wasn't prepared for that. So I think it's almost better in some ways that you don't know the meta, so you can just trick your opponents.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it doesn't work out for you. It just depends.
I mean, yeah. In my case, I tend to think along the lines of, what is the obvious thing to, what will he expect me to do? What will he do as a result? What can I do to counter that?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it can definitely turn into a massive match of rock paper scissors, like in extreme cases, but more, I'd say, like, people with a knack like 5 hits more often than not will get the better of the combat side of things.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's the issue of actually getting to them. Just for funsies, playing wax cylinders again. Yeah, because DonOJack obviously knows that he's lost. So might as well just have as much fun with the ending as possible. Now, wouldn't it be mean if that was a renewed vigor he just picked up for his CG? Okay, now I'll play immediately card.
Nope.
We'll make it. Yeah. Just fun to think about what that might be.
That's unearthly swiftness. We won't know.
Yeah, in which case you would use that to be able to slip in a feed as well. Alright. You both.
Yeah. Well played to both. Very intriguing game. And yeah, well done to Osey for getting the win.
So, yeah. it it was close. It was at least semi close in the sense that DonOJack was on his heels practically the entire time.
Yeah.
Uh, so like there wasn't any like stupid matures that could have easily been prevented as there were earlier in the first stage. Uh, so yeah, that my it's it's that the future is definitely looking scary for the quote unquote seasoned players like myself in of the tournament. Uh, they're definitely gonna start catching up to us in skill.
Oh yeah, well we saw that
It's
in the World Championship just gone, right?
oh yeah,
There's so many new players made the final, so it's always going to end up this way, which is great. Um, so yeah, no, this is what I want to see. Players improving
yeah,
and really taking the competition in good spirit and trying to learn as much as they can from it. So it's been very good, very good. Glad I could call it. I was
yes.
able to catch it. Well,
Yeah, yeah. Then thank you everyone, and have a good evening slash night depending on where you are.
indeed. I hope everyone's enjoyed the video.
Signing off. Well, I will be sending you the link to to the full video